Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Rasco back again with some more short horror story for you guys. These are gonna be written by Weeping Harmony, so remember to check out the links in the description below. Show love to them, like, comment, and subscribe. Story 1, Skinless Lady. I was in my room with Max, my closest and sadly only friend. He's cool though. It was a stormy night and my parents were out of town, so he was staying at my place for the weekend. As we ate junk food and sat on my bed, listening to Max ramble about his guy problems. I don't know, Scar, he's being so difficult. Maybe you shouldn't ask a girl for advice. You're a guy. Didn't you know this stuff? You're the worst, Scarlet. Same goes to you, Maximus. I'm not a pony from a Disney movie. I laughed and ate some more chips. Ever since Tangled came out, I would call him Maximus. He hated it, while I loved it. I met Max back in 3rd grade. On picture day, he was crying his eyes out because he tripped and tore his pink khakis. He's been obviously gay since he was 7. I comforted him and gave him some chocolate. We've been joined at the hip ever since. Scarlet? You hear that? Hear what? I heard some banging downstairs. Maybe it's the cat? You don't have a cat. Yeah, I do. Since when? A couple months ago. Though, I've noticed even if my cat is right in front of someone, they can't see it. Star, maybe you have a ghost cat. Ghosts aren't real. But it should be said. Look, time to bring the B team back from the dead. Did you just quote ERB? Yep. I hate you. After we finished up that conversation, I decided to go downstairs. I walked through the dark and empty house. There was nothing out of the ordinary. I then walked into the kitchen and saw every cabinet open, with everything thrown on the floor. I was about to call Max to help me clean the mess when I heard a scream. It was Max. I dashed up back through the house and up the stairs while shouting his name. I finally reached my room and Max wasn't there. But my window was wide open. I poked my head out the window and looked at the ground. There, I saw Max lying on the ground, getting soaked by the rain. He was dead. I then heard cackling behind me. Turning around, I saw her. A woman with long, dark, and tangled hair cascading down her back. Her white dress was torn and bloody. The scariest part, though, was her face. It was skinless. You could see her muscles and bones. Her eyes popped out of the sockets, making her permanent grin look even more disturbing. Her talon-like nails had scraps of Max's shirt decorating them. He laughed once more before the police burst through the door. He disappeared while I was being put in handcuffs. 3 months later. I continued screaming my head off as the guards ignored me. Please, I'm innocent. I'm not the one who pushed Max out the window. It was her, the skinless lady. She did it. I chanted through gritting teeth. No one listened to me here. I was the little psycho girl who doesn't know reality from fantasy. I ran my hand through my hair, tugging hard. I then started tearing at my war dress and scratching at my skin. I peeled some of the skin from my arms and legs, and the white gown started turning red with blood. I dashed toward the cell door, screaming again. When no one showed up, I started banging my head against the bars of the door. I continued screaming as the blood dripped down my face. As my vision became red and blurry, I started digging my nails into the skin of my forehead. Once I had a good grip, I started dragging my nails down, peeling skin off in chunks. I started screaming again. A guard finally looked in my cell and saw my state of bloody disaster and ran off to find backup. I dropped to the floor, laughing and screaming hysterically. I am the skinless lady. Then everything went black. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story. Yo, what is up, everybody? Let's go back again. Another short story for you guys, written by Vivian Justin. Remember to leave the links in the description below. Show love to them. Like, comment, and subscribe. Story 6, Sky. The city of Monroe woke up to a stormy morning. Rain pounded the windows from all directions. Trees were bent and the thinner branches were broken. Power was also out in many places. A storm of this magnitude had not been seen in years. Jamie and his family took shelter in the basement living room. The two young children were very scared. Jamie was most worried about the windows and the surrounding trees. The fierce winds had stopped and the rain had stopped, so Jamie and his family went upstairs in peace. Jamie looked at the damage. His house had escaped unscathed, with only some damage to the garden. Jamie stood on the porch. He was amazed at the sky. It was a blood red. Passers-by watched in horror as the raindrops, now red, fell on the road. Everyone immediately looked at his body, dripping red rain. The sky was getting gloomier. Jamie gasped for air. The children ran to him, but he shooed them off. One by one, he stepped off the steps and walked beside the bewildered crowd. He heard everything. Someone shouted that the gates of hell had opened. Others thought the unusual phenomenon was a curse from God because people were living in sin. Someone else wanted to draw parallels with meteorology. The man looked at the blood-colored rain that had gathered in the palm of his hand and was slowly overflowing. He clenched his fists and stared at the rain dripping down his hands, as if it wasn't real. A golden crack, about 1.5 meters across, appeared in the sky. Everyone watched with open mouths. Some people ran away, trying to escape the kill, while others had their feet rooted to the ground. The crack widened, and 4 riders stepped through. The horsemen were covered in a black shroud. Their horses were skeleton. They descended to the ground, and from there, the men fled in a frenzy. One of the horsemen drew a long, sharp sword from under his cloak and made a very eerie sound. He struck the sword against the road, which immediately split in two. Several men fell in. The horsemen pointed their fingers at one man, and they immediately lit up. In a snap, they were reduced to dust. Jamie rushed into the house, and with 2 children in his arms, hurried down the cellar. They locked themselves in as he worked to calm the little ones. One of the men in black stood in front of the mayor. He cut him in half with a swing of his sword. Another set the houses on fires. Next thing you know, the streets were empty. The vast majority were already dead. Others were hiding. Then the rider raised his hand to the sky, clapped his hands. Next thing you know, all who were hiding were seized by the invisible force that led them straight to the horsemen. Jamie and the children cried. The force separated them. The bloody rain became more intense, more frequent. One of the riders lifted the local undertaker high into the air, and with that momentum, threw him into the road. But Jamie could see golden colors running down the cracks in the road. An earthquake followed, and the Jamies were held in the air by a force almost demonic. Suddenly, they heard noises in the distance. Most of the survivors looked in that direction. Many people appeared, but they were no longer human. Their eyes were completely black, and blood was gushing from their tear ducts. They surrounded the riders, and one after another, they picked out the men from the invisible force. Jamie looked worriedly at his children. He looked down and saw below him 2 black-eyed men tearing his neighbor to pieces. Body parts were flying everywhere. Jamie gasped for air. With only 5 of them left, Jamie thought of escape, but the force would not let him move. He looked desperately ahead of him, straight behind the rider's cloak. Their black eyes flicked down at the children. Jamie screamed, but all in vain. Jamie had completely lost all hope. The rider pulled him down between them. Jamie was surrounded by the 4 riders, and behind them were the black-eyed men. One handed him a black shroud. After a few seconds of hesitation, Jamie took it. He adjusted it to himself, and everything he knew about the world, everyone he knew, vanished into thin air, and an unfamiliar feeling came over him. The riders were now 5, and through the crack, they left with Jamie. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story. Yo, what is up, everybody? Sir Esco back again. Another short horror story written by Miss Unicorn 257. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to them. Like, comment, and subscribe. Story 2. Snow Day. It was a lovely night with at least a foot of snow on the ground. I was watching the news and drinking some hot chocolate. I got up to put my empty mug in the sink when I noticed a guy outside. He was smiling, but he had like this twisted grin that will forever haunt me. It dawned on me when I noticed the knife in his left hand. I grabbed the phone and dialed the police. After that, I looked at him. He got much closer. He started walking towards my door and stopped when he was about a foot or so from the door. But that's when I noticed something. There wasn't any footprints in the snow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story. Yo, what is up, everybody? Let's go back again with another horror story for you guys. This one is titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author. Like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 1. The house was big, very big. The more the realtor showed Ray around, the more he realized just how great an undertaking it was going to be to bring the old place back to life. But it was a house that Ray wanted in the worst way. For years, the old 2-story had been left abandoned. It was built in the early 1800s and was in dire need of an update. But the age of the house and the wear and tear was not what was keeping the buyers away. This is definitely the house I saw online, said Ray. Yeah, it's a bit of a fixer-upper, said Jessie, who was very new to the job and extremely eager to make her first sale. Which means you really get to make it your own. It's gonna take a lot of work. Which is why it's priced to sell. You will not find a house in this neighborhood at this size for this price. One might even say it's a steal. Is it not sold yet? Am I right? Well, I mean, I do love it, and it is in my price range. That's a huge plus. It has more than enough rooms for you and your family. Oh, no, it's just me. I used to be married, but not anymore. Really? This is a lot of house for just one person. Ray didn't respond. Are you a house flipper? Something like that. I like to think that I leave a house a little better off than how I found it. Then this is definitely the house for you. I think I found my new place. There's just one tiny little insignificant detail that I have to disclose to you before we can do any paperwork. What's that? This dwelling is considered a stigmatized property. What does that mean? Well, some people, mostly the superstitious, think this house is kind of haunted. Wait, what? Are you telling me that you're trying to sell me a haunted house? Is that why this place is so cheap? That a bunch of people get murdered here or something? Am I gonna be cursed if I buy this place? Like, I can never leave? Jesse was clearly taken aback by what Ray had just said and was unable to muster an answer. Ray immediately began laughing. Just messing with you. Look, I don't believe in all that supernatural garbage. People hear a creak in the night, or see a shadow on the wall, and assume that means there's a ghost in the house. Believe whatever you want to believe. If it means I'm getting a house for 30% less than market value, then good for me. Ray filled out the paperwork that afternoon, and within only a few days, was moving his belongings into the house. As he was lugging boxes from the moving truck to the house, an older couple pulled up in a beat-up old truck. They quickly made their way to Ray and greeted him just as two people who had known him for years would have. Ah, so you're the new owner. Yeah, it's a hell of a house. A hell of a house. Before Ray knew it, the couple had ushered him right into the house. Looks just like the pictures on the internet. Oh, there's a fireplace. I'm sorry. Do I know you? Oh, where are my manners? My name is Estel. This is my husband, Warren. It's nice to meet you. I'm Ray. So, what are you doing here? I just bought this place, so if you're interested in it, I hate to tell you, you're a little too late. Oh, we're not buyers. We just have a fascination with old houses like yours. Warren pulled out a camera and began taking pictures. Am I missing something? Is this house like on a historic registry or something? If it is, then I'm gonna have her run it by the city if I want to make any renovations. Oh, don't change a thing, dear. Leave it just the way it is. Have you moved much of your stuff yet? Nah, not much. Just started moving boxes about an hour ago. Oh, that's good. What's your husband doing? Ray noticed Warren had taken a hold of the curtains. Oh, pay no attention to him. Why don't you show me the kitchen? I'm sure it's the most interesting room in the house. To Ray's dismay, Warren pulled out a lighter and tried to set the curtains on fire. Fortunately, the lighter looked to be just as old as the couple and wasn't lighting. What's he doing? Oh, don't worry about him. Now, were you about to show me the kitchen? And with that, Estel tried to lead Ray away. Just keep looking forward, dear. Let us save your life. Eventually, the lighter ignited and Warren succeeded in setting the curtains on fire. You crazy old fool, Ray shouted, before running to put out the flames. Ray had nothing capable of putting out the fire, so the best he could do was pull the curtains from the wall and attempt to stomp them out. Don't do that, said Warren, trying to pull Ray away from the burning curtains. Look, you better get out of this house before you become the next thing I start stomping on. Thought you told him you were trying to save his life. Guess he wants to die in this house. An hour later, the police were on the scene, taking a statement from Ray. So, these old folks got the drop on you and overpowered you? I never said they overpowered me. I said they caught me by surprise. They pushed me down while I was trying to put out the curtains. Guess I was too preoccupied with keeping my house from burning down to get into a fist fight with a couple of senior citizens, prevent them from leaving. Well, I've already written down that they overpowered you. Can't erase ink. Son of a bitch. As Ray was talking to the officer, the detective on the scene was watching him very intently. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 1. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author. Like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 2. After the unfortunate curtain burning incident, Ray was able to finish moving the rest of his belongings into the house. As he worked, Ray couldn't help but notice people watching him. They either peeked at him out windows or drove ever so slowly by his house just to stare at him. These odd looks had been happening even before the police had visited Ray's house. So utterly exhausted from moving boxes and furniture all day by himself, Ray crashed on his recliner and made very quick work of several bottles of beer. Ray hadn't had the time to call the cable company to hook up his television, so he passed the time in his darkened living room by watching videos on his phone. Ray's phone was near out of storage as it was practically bursting, as it seems, with videos and pictures of his late wife, Lacey. One video in particular that Ray enjoyed watching was of Lacey as she was washing her car in the driveway. Raymond, you gonna help me wash the car, or are you gonna stand there and take videos of me all day? Well, you're doing such a great job washing it by yourself. Hate to step in and mess up what you're doing. Oh, is that your excuse? Whoa, no need to get weapons involved, Ray said, as Lacey, who was now pointing the hose at Ray. You gonna help me now, or would you rather get the hose? I'd still rather not help. The answer was enough to earn Ray a well-deserved soaking from his wife. Despite how embarrassing it had been to be drenched, Ray couldn't help but smile at the video. Finding another video he enjoyed greatly, Ray eagerly clicked on it and began watching. Lacey was sitting in the same recliner Ray now sat in. The living room was saturated in sunlight as Lacey gazed out the window as the sound of children playing punctured the silence. When she noticed Ray filming her, Lacey immediately turned her face away. No, don't record me. Awful. No, you don't. The most beautiful woman I've ever seen. You don't really mean that. What do you mean? All other women don't even exist, as far as I'm concerned. Remember that time I hit a lady with my shopping cart in the grocery store? I didn't even see her standing there because there are no other women. To use some pretty colorful language with you, I was getting ready to pull out my phone and call 911 if she started swinging on you. You don't think I could have handled her? What do you mean? She was twice your size, Raymond. She would have crushed you like a bug. Hey, tougher than I look. The smile faded from Lacey's face, and she began again, staring out the window. Do you still love me? I'm all shriveled up, and all my hairs fall out? It's not gonna happen to you. But if it does, I'm still gonna be crazy about you. Heck, I'm probably gonna look a lot worse than you. Do you still love me if I just disappeared? Lacey? Would you, Raymond? Ray wiped a tear from his eye as he watched the video. I'm going to love you for 1,000,000 years. What do you think about that? Just 1,000,000? Alright, I'm gonna love you for 1,000,000, billion, trillion years. A long time. Practically forever. Well, I did the math. Even longer than forever. Having been watching videos on his phone for quite some time, the battery finally died, leaving Ray alone in the dark. The sound of a floorboard creak prompted Ray to spin his head around and peer into the darkness. Seeing nothing out of the ordinary, Ray decided it was time for him to head off to bed. As Ray was making his way down the hall, something quite odd happened. The bathroom light suddenly turned on by itself. This stopped Ray dead in his tracks. Half expecting someone to be on the other side of the door, Ray cautiously opened it. Fortunately, there was no one waiting for him. Bad wiring. Guess I'll have to call the electrician. And with that, Ray headed into his bedroom, shutting the door gently behind him. The house was now abnormally silent, and the darkness was just as unsettling, as only the scantest of moonlight could force its way through the curtains. The silence was broken, and what sounded like someone letting out a deep breath filled the hallway outside Ray's bedroom. This was followed by the bathroom light again turning on. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 2. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author. Like, comment, subscribe. Chapter 3. With the real estate market being hotter than it had been in years, Ferguson Realty's offices were busy with activity. The only time the realtors were given any chance to decompress was their lunch break. Jessie was at her desk eating a modest lunch of a ham sandwich and a bottle of water from a plain brown paper bag. One of the other realtors arrived at Jessie's desk with one of the largest smiles on her face. "Is it true?" asked the woman, whose name was Maria. "Is what true?" "The house. Did you really sell the Devil House?" "Do they really call it that? I mean, I know it had history, but the Devil House? Really? Wow, we've been trying to sell that for years, but no one in their right mind would go anywhere near it. Everyone from these parts has heard the stories." "Well, Mr. Martinez isn't from the area." Look, you're new in town, so you haven't heard the stories about the house like the rest of us. Growing up, all you ever heard was stay far away from that house. Parents even threatened to send their kids to live there if they ever got out of line. You better believe that straightened us out. Well, what happened there? Well, it all started long ago, like in the 1800s, I think. An old lady named Agnes Weatherby used to live in that house, and she was one bad lady. What did she do? Well, she wasn't always old. From what I've heard, when she was young, she was quite the looker, which made it very easy for her to lure men to her home. And once she got them in there, she did unspeakable things to them. Like what? Didn't I say they were unspeakable? But your guess is as good as mine. I've heard she tortured the hell out of those men. They were supposedly sacrificed to the devil. That lady has some freaky stuff going on in that house. Was she ever punished? That's the best part. They didn't arrest her and put her on trial. A bunch of the men from the town busted into her house in the middle of the night and hanged her, right there in the living room. She wasn't dying fast enough for them though, so they slit her open and let all her guts spill out. Wow, that's gruesome. Yeah, none of the men were ever held accountable for what they did. And why should they? They did a town a favor that night. They said when they came into her house, they found body parts everywhere, and pentagrams and other stuff written on the walls, the blood of her victims. Maria then checked her watch. I gotta get back to work, but congrats on selling that house. Jessie was more than a bit shaken by the horrific story she had just heard. All she could do was sit in silence. It was a beautiful day to be outside, but Ray took his front yard to do some much-needed yard work. The first job was to clear out the weeds that had built up over the years. Ray hadn't had the wherewithal to buy a weed killer or the proper tools, though he had no choice to pull the weeds by hand. You'd think the city would have maintained this place better. Like they wanted to look like the Addams family used to live here. A woman across the street pushing a baby stroller caught Ray's attention. When she looked at him, Ray gave her a friendly wave. Hey, neighbor. An old woman with the purest of black eyes and pastiest of white skins was now looking out the living room and met eyes with the woman pushing the stroller. Wasting no time at all, the woman pushing the stroller began pushing her stroller as fast as she could until she was completely out of sight. Wow, found us some really rude people. Ray watched as something white and poofy began emerging from the bottom of his neighbor's fence. Eventually, out popped a very curious little dog. It showed far less fear than the stroller woman and began sniffing around Ray. Hey, little guy, what are you doing here? Escape from your yard, do some exploring, huh? The little dog began walking in a circle before coming to a stop and doing its business dangerously close to Ray. Ugh, you little jerk, Ray said, immediately standing up to get out of harm's way. When the dog was finished, Ray picked him up and marched him to the neighbor's house. He rang the doorbell and waited, but no one ever answered. Lucky I'm a nice guy. Most people would have taken you for a car ride that you would have never come back from. Ray opened his back gate and gently put the dog down. Alright, buddy, going into town to buy some tools. Before I go, I'm gonna put a note on your owner's front door, letting them know that you're back here, okay? The dog looked quizzically at Ray. You have no idea what I'm saying, do you? Okay, well, when I get back, let's hope you're not here. Ray drove into town shortly after his one-sided conversation with the neighbor's dog. He stopped in at the local hardware store and quickly became the topic of every customer's conversation. It was obvious to Ray that everyone in the store was either staring at him or talking about him. To try to lighten the mood, Ray took a hold of a nearby shovel and made an ill-advised joke. It's a good shovel for burying a body? By being indoors, Ray was sure he heard a cricket chirp. Hey, you the guy who bought the old Weatherby place? Said the old man tending the register. Yeah, that's right. Name's Ray. Nice to meet you. Any reason in particular why you chose that house? Well, it was priced to move. That's for sure. It's all on a quiet street, great schools, and the finest neighbors I've ever come across. You know the history of that house, right? What history? Some very bad things happened in that house. Things I'm not all comfortable saying out loud. Every house has bad things happen in them. I once lived in a house where they used to make meth. Other people have lived in that house before you. Not all of them lived long enough to get out before it was too late. They didn't believe the stories either. I bet they wish they had believed now. Look, this house is no different from any other house. Back at Ray's house, the fluffy white dog was waiting patiently for its owner. It hadn't a care in the world as it happily wagged its tail and stared intently at the black gate. But what the fluffy white dog didn't know was that something was watching it. And after that something exhaled deeply, it was quickly upon the dog, forcing a most horrendous yelp to burst from it. Listening to the old man's tale at the hardware store did nothing to dampen Ray's good mood. He was holding the steering wheel with one hand and holding a cheeseburger in the other as he drove home. What the? Said Ray as he approached his house. There was now a police car parked in the front and an officer talking to the neighbor, who was holding her fluffy white dog. There he is, officer. Shoot him. Shoot him in the face. What's going on? Well, looks like someone did a number on your neighbor's dog, said a detective who went by the name Miller. He left a note on my front door saying there's a surprise for you in the backyard. It wasn't the surprise I was expecting. Ma'am, go back in your house. I'll be over in a minute to talk to you some more, okay? Looks like that house found the perfect new owner. I didn't do anything to that dog. I mean, yeah, it took a dump in my yard and it probably deserves some payback, but I would never do anything like that. I believe you. Look, last time I was here, I didn't really get a chance to speak my mind, because there were people from the neighborhood snooping around. I didn't want them to hear what I had to say. But there is something seriously wrong with this house. Oh boy, not you too. Look, I've been a cop in this town for over 15 years. So I'm not just some superstitious nutjob spreading rumors. I've been called to this house more times than I care to remember. And I've seen some really messed up things. Thank you for your concern, but I don't really buy into all that haunted house stuff. Look, I didn't want to do this, but you forced me. All those people that were murdered here back in the 1800s weren't the only people to die horrible deaths in this house. Since I've been on the force, we have pulled out 8 dead bodies from this place, and none of them died of old age. I mean, accidents happen, I guess, right? The last guy was pulled out of here, and he had his eyeballs pulled out of their sockets. The one before had over 100 slash marks all over his body. We've had to keep these deaths from the public. We pull the bodies out in the middle of the night, so no one knows what really happens here. The town found out they'd probably form a mob and come burn this place to the ground. Take half the block with it. This house has claimed enough lives. Please don't let it claim another. Thank you, officer, but you have absolutely nothing to worry about. I can guarantee nothing bad is going to happen in this house. And with that, Ray took a large bite out of his burger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is the end, chapter 3. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 4. Having gotten the day off, Jesse paid Ray and his infamous house an unexpected visit. Well, isn't this a surprise? Said Ray upon opening the front door. You didn't realize how cheap you sold this house for and came to ask for it back, did you? No. I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd stop by to see how you're doing. An old man driving by slowed down, rolled his window down. Don't go in there! Before motoring off. Would you like to come in? Asked Ray, who along with Jesse was now feeling a little awkward after what the old man had just shouted out of his car. Yeah, I would love to. Oh, it's really cold in here. Really? Feels fine to me. Guess women are always feeling cold. Sorry, that was sexist, wasn't it? It's okay. I really like what you've done with the place. Yeah, this whole place needed a lot of work. Still does. Took down some of the old wallpaper, painted the walls a little more neutral color. Yeah, that was a good idea. It was way too dark in here before. A flash of color really could help bring some life into this place. So, have you had any problems with the house? Well, I mean, it's a really old house, so wiring is bad. Lights that I turn on keep turning off. Lights that I turn off keep turning on. Can get pretty annoying. I even called an electrician. He said he would swing by today. You ever show up? No. He did not. The pipes are bad too. Keep hearing knocking from the basement. You sure the knocking is the pipes? It's always the pipes. Every time I go down to check on the problem, knocking stops. Probably have to call someone for that too, and they'll probably end up not showing up, just like the electrician. Ray noticed Jesse looking at a picture of Lacey on a nearby table. Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. That's Lacey. She's very pretty. Yeah, she was amazing. Despite that, she still wore a smile. Was? Yeah, Lacey passed away a long time ago. I'm sorry. It's okay. Lacey got sick. Really sick. At the end, she wasn't herself anymore. But she fought really hard. There's nothing I can do but make sure she passed as peacefully as she could. She'll always be with me though. Sound like an amazing person. Just then, Ray's cell phone began ringing. The ringtone was quite an upbeat pop tune. I don't know how to change that. Hello? What? Where are you? Ray went to the front door and whipped it open. Standing by the curb was a pizza delivery boy holding Ray's order. Yeah, so if you could just throw me the money, bro, that would be really cool. And I'll just leave the pizza right here so you can come get it. Why don't you just come to the front door? You're literally like 10 steps away. Oh, nah, bro, I'm good. I have like this leg condition where I can't really use my legs that good. So if you could just wad the bills up and just throw them at me. This is ridiculous. How about I just come to you, give you the money, and you give me the pizza? Yeah, bro, that could work. When Ray exited the house, heavy footsteps could be heard from upstairs. They traveled down the hall and to the stairs. It seemed that whoever or whatever it was that was upstairs was soon to be making its way to the first floor. Jesse turned her attention to the stairs, and just when it seemed something was about to appear, Ray came flying into the house, badly startling her. What happened? Why were you running? Oh, sorry, a couple dogs caught the scent of the pizza, came after me, but they weren't fast enough. Hungry? Jesse was easily persuaded to stay for dinner. The light above the dining room table illuminated the immediate area well. The rest of the house was beginning to drown in darkness as the sun set outside. Ray was smothering his pizza with hot sauce. He offered Jessie the bottle, but she shook her head. So, it's just you in this big house? Yep. I know it's a lot of house for one person, but I like to stretch my legs. I mean, really stretch my legs. Oh, it's because I thought I heard footsteps upstairs. Oh, yeah, I've heard those too. Pretty sure I've got like raccoons or something living up in the attic. Gonna have to call someone to get rid of them. So, you used to flip houses? Yeah, I was pretty good at it too. Find the house, fix the problem, sell it, move along to the next one. Interesting. So, what do you think about all this haunted house stuff? Bunch of nonsense, right? Yeah, I don't believe in any of that haunted house stuff. I'm one of those people who believes that when you die, that's it. You don't get to come back and take care of unfinished business. Leave that stuff to the movies, I say. When Ray took a drink of water, he immediately spat it back out in a way someone would have if they just had been hit in the back. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Went down the wrong pipe. What I meant to say is, I believe in the afterlife. Just not in that haunted house stuff. You can have one without the other, right? Yeah, I suppose. So, we've talked so much about me. What about you? Who is Jesse? Me? Well, I moved here about a year ago. Same story I'm sure you heard before. Just trying to start over after an incredibly messy divorce. Ah, are you liking the real estate business? I like it a lot. I met tons of interesting people. Plus, it's a great way to learn about town's history. Like this place. Only these walls could talk. The pair finished their meals and talked a bit more, before saying their goodbyes. So utterly exhausted was Ray that he skipped his usual routine of watching television and instead went straight to bed. Ray's bedroom was shrouded in darkness when he entered, but he could make out what looked like a figure of someone lying under his covers. Is someone in here? He timidly grabbed his blanket and wiped it off his bed, revealing that no one had been lying underneath. Ah, damn it, it's never a naked lady. In no time at all, Ray was fast asleep. So deep he was in slumber that Ray wasn't able to hear footsteps approaching his bed. Emerging from the darkest corner of the bedroom came the once owner of the house, Agnes Weatherby. On this night, Ray dreamed of Lacey. She was standing out in the darkened hallway outside the couple's bedroom. Her back was turned. "Lacey?" said Ray, slowly approaching her. When he had gotten close enough, Ray put his hand on Lacey's shoulder. "No, not Lacey," said the woman in an unsettling whisper. When she turned around, Lacey revealed her eyes to be darker than any shade of black Ray had ever seen. Outside of Ray's dream, Agnes had climbed onto his bed and was slowly inching her way towards him. Back inside his dream, Ray was frozen with fear. "Who are you?" he asked, sure that the woman standing before him was not his real wife. Instead of answering, the woman produced a knife from behind her back. Without saying a word, he plunged into Ray's chest. So startling was the dream that Ray immediately woke from his slumber, falling off the bed and landing painfully onto the floor, taking the blanket and the pillows with him in the process. After Ray came to his senses, he found himself alone in his room. Hastily making his way down to the kitchen, Ray opened up his refrigerator and retrieved his bottle of hot sauce. He then poured the contents down the sink. I swore I would never eat this stuff before bed. The same thing happens every time. Eye-gouging, horrible nightmares. When the bottle was empty, Ray calmly walked back upstairs and back to bed. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end, chapter 4. Yo, what is up, everybody? Teresco back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author. Like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 5. Jesse was back at work the next day, going over a large stack of files. Maria arrived at her desk and didn't say a word. However, she did give Jesse a look. What's with the look? I was talking to Janet, and she said you paid that little visit to that Ray guy. Yeah, I wanted to see how he was doing. Is it true? You really went into the devil house again? Girl, are you out of your mind? What? Nothing happened. This time. You got lucky. What were you thinking, going to a house like that? And alone? I wasn't alone. Ray was with me. Oh, and this Ray guy gonna protect you when the demons come crawling out the walls, huh? I didn't see any demons. It seemed like a perfectly normal house to me. I mean, it has its creaking thumps, and sometimes it feels like someone is watching you, whispering in your ear, but it really is just a normal house. Maria pulled up a chair and sat beside Jesse. Look, you have to promise me you won't go back into that house. And I was just staring out here. Look, they stuck me in the house too. It must be some kind of initiation or something. I did a full walkthrough. The whole time, it felt like there were eyes on me, mentally just undressing me. Jesse gave Maria a look of her own. Look, that was before having 3 kids, okay? But cut me some slack. Anyway, I kept hearing footsteps upstairs, and the house was cold. Like way too cold for that time of the year. But what really freaked me out was, as I was heading to my car, I took one last look at the house, and that's when I saw that old woman in black watching me from the living room window. It didn't look human at all. I don't know, someone could have slipped in the house while you were in there and you just didn't notice them. I locked all the doors after I went in there. I'm telling you, it was Agnes Weatherby. Her spirit is still in that house. Are you sure that's what happened? People here tell me you liked to hit the bottle back in the day. Look, I've seen pictures of this bitch. It was her. Lucky for me, I never had to go back in that house because no one was ever stupid enough to want to buy it. They told me not to tell you what I had seen when they assigned the house to you. They also told me not to tell any of the other realtors they gave the house to. And I had been sober for years, so thank you very much. How many other realtors have gone in that house? Every new one. Like this one guy named Ed. Or something like that. I don't remember his name. None of us liked him. He came back from his walkthrough and quit right there on the spot. Said this job wasn't for him. Maybe the lady's spirit got tired of waiting for someone new and moved in and left. Evil spirits don't take their ball and go home because there isn't someone there to play with. And besides, what rational human being buys a house like that? People do research before putting in an offer on a house. This Ray, if that is his real name, you have to know about the stories. All you've got to do is Google that address and you're going to find a bunch of stuff that will show you that that's not the right house for you. What are you saying? What I'm saying is, maybe we shouldn't be focusing so much on the house, and instead focus on the guy that bought the house. Ray had called someone to help him with what he assumed to be a run-of-the-mill pest problem. According to the tag on his shirt, the man's name was Javier, and according to the look on his face, he was less than enthusiastic to be paying a visit to the house. You been hearing footsteps in the attic? And they're like scratching type, right? They're not like a person is walking around? Honestly, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm pretty sure it's like family raccoons or something. Ray pulled down the ladder that led to the attic. Now, there's no light up here, so you're gonna have to use a flashlight if you want to see anything. And believe me, it gets dark up here. You're not gonna come up there with me? It's a really low ceiling. You're shorter than me, so I think it'll be easier for you. Bro, we're the same height. How about I just poke my head up there and tell you what I see? Yeah, that could work. Javier climbed the ladder and poked his head into the attic, shining his flashlight around. See anything? Nothing so far. The light from Javier's flashlight did little to illuminate the attic. It was freakishly dark inside. Look for raccoons or squirrels. I bet those two are working together up there, making it sound like they've been, got clumpy footsteps or something. I know their tricks. Javier did a quick scan of the attic. There was nothing out of the ordinary. There was a rocking chair covered by a white sheet, very little else. Before he could report his lack of findings to Ray, the rocking chair began to rock, ever so slowly. Hey! Hold on. I think there's something stuck in my teeth. What looked like a person covered by a sheet appeared on the rocking chair. As Javier squinted to better see, whoever it was on the rocking chair sprang up and charged toward him. Javier flew off the ladder and landed painfully on his back. Put the ladder back up. Put it up. Put it up. What? Put the ladder back up. There's someone up there. Ray did as Javier said and retracted the ladder. Was it a raccoon? Did it bite you? Did it give you rabies? You have to tell me if it did. No, it was a person up there. It came at me. I knew I should have never come here. I'd know if there was someone in the attic. Look, yo man, your house is haunted. I think you'd be very lucky if it was just raccoons you're dealing with. As Javier passed by the bathroom, he was treated to a far worse sight than he had already seen. Another version of himself was sitting on the toilet, but this version of Javier had his throat slashed. His stomach had also been cut open, allowing Javier's organs to spill out. Javier let out a horrified scream and quickly fled from the house, dropping all of his gear as he did. Ray looked in the bathroom and found absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. What? I flushed. By the time Ray got to the front door, Javier was already in his truck. Yo, you forgot all your stuff. Keep it, man. Alright, but I'm not paying you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is the end, chapter 5. Yo, what is up everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 6. Having little to do on this day, Ray settled down in his recliner to watch some television. He found the notebook was playing as he was flipping through the channels. Ray couldn't help but smile. This was one of Lacey's favorite movies. Ray straightened himself up in his chair. Okay, no more messing around. Finally gonna finish this movie. This one's for you, babe. After about 10 minutes, Ray was fast asleep. He had tried to stay awake to watch the movie to its conclusion, but Ray just couldn't do it. The setting, the story, and the characters were all just too unappealing to keep Ray's interest. The house became inundated with Ray snoring. If there was ever something that could wake the dead, then Ray snoring would be it. Unbeknownst to the slumbering movie connoisseur, the knob on the stove began turning on its own. Before long, gas was filling the whole house. Ray's delightful slumber had led him to dream about the last time he and Lacey watched The Notebook. The couple was sitting on their couch, snuggled together beneath a colorful Afghan. Oh, this is the part where Allie faints. I always get chills during this part. Much of Lacey's dismay, Ray had again fallen asleep during her favorite movie. Ray's mouth was hanging wide open, and a trickle of drool was streaming out. Nice. You couldn't stay up this time. How's this fair? I always watch your movies to the end, no matter how stupid they are. I have to sit through explosions and gunfights, and all I ask is that you sit through this movie just one time without falling asleep. Lacey immediately began shaking Ray. Wake up, Raymond. Wake up, Raymond. Wake up! The more Lacey shook Ray, the more force she used. And each time she ordered him to wake up, the louder her voice became. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up! Ray awoke and immediately began coughing and gasping for air. The smell of gas had made Ray lightheaded, but he managed to escape through the front door and collapse onto the front lawn. When he awoke, Ray found he was in the back of an ambulance being tended to by a pair of paramedics. They had put on an oxygen mask to aid his breathing. What happened? Detective Miller was standing just outside the ambulance. Seems like you had a bit of a gas leak. A couple neighbors said they found you sprawled out on the front yard, mumbling about a notebook or something. What? I have a gas leak now? Ah, great. Another thing I gotta fix in that house. Can I talk to him alone for a second? Ray, I'm not convinced this was a gas leak. That stove was turned all the way up. Ray removed the oxygen mask from his face. I must be getting forgivable in my old age. That stove was cleaner than any stove I've ever seen. When was the last time you used it? Recently? Probably. I checked your trash can, and it's full of takeout boxes. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you didn't even know how to use a stove. Look, I'll have you know I can boil water like it's nobody's business. Look, I don't think you left the stove on. I think someone turned it on, hoping it would put an end to your life. Oh boy, not this again. Do you think a ghost turned on the stove so that I would die from sucking up gas fumes? Is that it? Pretty much. Ray hopped off the gurney and out of the ambulance. Look man, accidents happen all the time. Some of us are just a little too accident prone sometimes. I promise you, there is nothing that's not normal going on around here. Jessie was back at work, walking back to her desk when she passed by Maria. This is not normal. What are you doing? I knew there had to be something wrong with that boyfriend of yours. So I did some checking up on him. He's not my boyfriend. Why? Did he say something? Look at this. I typed Ray's name into one of these people lookup sites. Isn't it kind of a creep move to use one of those sites? Look, I didn't pay to use this website. It's completely free. It's only creepy if you pay for this kind of stuff. You have a good point. So, what did you find? Look at this. This site shows all the addresses Ray has lived at. Look at how many there are. He lived at over 40 addresses in the last 10 years. That's kind of weird. You think that's bad, you better brace yourself. I googled his ass and looked at look what I came up with. Jesse began scanning Maria's screen and was shocked to find an old news story about how Ray's wife met a most untimely demise. What is this? The story described a brutal attack in the Martinez home on one fateful night many years prior. Ray had been stabbed numerous times by an unknown assailant. The amount of blood he had lost should have been enough to kill him, but he somehow managed to survive. Lacey, on the other hand, had sustained only a single stab wound on the chest, but that injury had been enough to end her life. They never found the murder weapon, but they never found any forced entry either. That boy got secrets he ain't sharing with the rest of us. But he said Lacey got sick. I guess he didn't really want to talk about something so horrible with someone he hardly knows. I mean, would you want to talk about something like this? Jesse, your break's over. Get back to work. Look, Jesse, I'm telling you, you stay away from that boy. That night, Ray wanted nothing more than to decompress from another hectic day. So he did something he was accustomed to doing. That night, Ray drew himself a very sudsy bubble bath, rubber ducky included. Ray had placed a damp washcloth upon his face and allowed the serenity of the moment to take him away. I feel just like a lady. Was that sexist? Nah. So relaxed was he that Ray was struggling to stay awake, and in his current state, he was unable to hear the very heavy breathing that was growling dangerously close. Before long, something grabbed Ray by the shoulders and had forced him underwater. Being in such a state of shock, it took Ray a few seconds more than he would have liked before he started fighting back. Eventually, Ray was able to pull his head out of the water and catch his breath through a series of desperate coughs. Don't ever fall asleep in the bathtub. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 6. Yo, what is up, everybody? Ceresco back again with another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 7. Early the next day, Jesse was anxiously scanning the office. She knew Maria was around and would not approve of what she was about to do. Quickly as she could, Jesse dialed Ray's home phone. It rang a few times before someone picked up. Hello? Ray? Jesse? There was no answer on the other end. All Jesse could hear was static and what sounded like breathing. Ray, can you hear me? I think we might have a bad connection. Before Jesse could say another word, she was treated to the most horrific scream she had ever heard. She immediately hung up and was badly startled when she turned around to find Maria right behind her. What's wrong with you? Oh, nothing. Why? Who said anything was wrong? Well, you look like you just saw a ghost. Ghost? What ghost? What's a ghost? Girl, you are working way too hard. Later that day, Ray had a plumber over to the house. His kitchen sink was clogged, and he desperately needed help unclogging it. So, I used drain cleaner on this thing, but that didn't do anything. Yeah, sometimes you get something stuck down there, and that takes a little more than a drain cleaner. Should be able to find what's blocking your drain with the camera. Won't take too long. Alright, sounds good. Hey, when you're done, can you take a look at the pipes in the basement? They have been knocking like crazy. I barely sleep at night because of them. The basement? Bill, who had a clear look of fright on his face. No one said anything about the basement. The ticket was for the kitchen sink. There was a sudden knocking on the front door. Let me just check on that. When Ray answered the door, he found a group of kids running away. Ghost house, ghost house. Ah, you little punks. Bill was now all alone inside the house. He had been quite wary of entering in the first place. Though Ray was outside dealing with some no-good kids, it felt to Bill as if someone was watching him. The not-so-subtle sound of deep breathing also became evident. Ever so slowly, Bill looked behind him. Standing uncomfortably close to him was Ray. Bill was badly startled, and by being so badly startled, also startled Ray. Whoa, man, why are you standing so close to me? Sorry, I wanted to see if I could see what's inside the drain on your camera. Thought you were outside dealing with those kids. Yeah, they were too fast for me. I stopped chasing them after a couple steps. There's no way I was gonna catch any of them, even the fat one. Getting old sucks. Do me a favor. Can you try not to leave me alone? I might, need a hand or something. Yeah, man, no problem. The pipes in the basement began making a horrible noise. It was as if someone was beating on them with another pipe. See, I told you. Look, hold on, I'll be right back. And with that, Ray hurried off to the basement. Wait, exclaimed Bill. Being the model employee that he was, Bill continued feeding the line down the drain. Okay, Bill. Okay, you got this. He said 10 Hail Marys before entering. Nothing bad can happen to you. Before long, Bill's line hit something. What was showing up on his monitor looked to be a tangled mess of black hair. The hair soon started to look as if it was moving. What is that? As Bill leaned in better to see the monitor, an eyeball appeared in the mess of hair. It was painfully obvious that it was staring right at him. Oh, no, to hell with this, exclaimed Bill, quickly retracting the line. I'm chewing the crap out of Jerry the second I see him. I told him I did not want to come here, but he wouldn't listen. Oh, I'm gonna give him hell for this. Out of nowhere, a hand, made completely out of blood, thrust from the drain and grabbed a hold of Bill's hand just as he completely pulled the line out. Ray? Sorry, I can barely hear you. It's really dark down here. The eyeball appeared at the drain opening of the opposite basin. It was soon joined by the tangled hair, which began crawling out of the drain and making its way towards Bill. Ray? Ray? Immediately after his name was called again, Ray appeared. The scene he came upon was quite a strange one. Bill was being very dramatic despite everything being perfectly normal. Did you already finish? The hand made of blood, the eyeball, and the tangled black hair were now nowhere to be found. Bill began feeling the wrists that had been grabbed, but there was nothing out of the ordinary. It showed no signs of having just been grabbed. Everything okay? Without saying a word, Bill ran out of the house. Hey, you forgot your stuff. Bill's hands were shaking so terribly that he struggled just to get his keys out of his pocket. It all belongs to the company. They can come get it if they want it. And with that, Bill got in his truck and hastily drove away. All right, but I'm not paying you. That night, Ray settled down on his easy chair and watched some television. He had settled on a nature show. The lioness takes its time. The zebra has no idea that its fate is already sealed. Ah, stupid zebra. The lioness is careful not to let the zebra know what awaits in just a few short moments. And in the blink of an eye, the hungry lioness is upon the zebra, and it's over. Before long, Ray had fallen asleep. Ray's dream on this night was a familiar one. He was in bed with Lacey. The room was uncomfortably dark. Raymond, you awake? Being far too tired to engage his wife in conversation, Ray didn't give a response, hoping it would lead her to call it a night as well. Thank you for sticking with me, Raymond. I know it isn't easy putting up with me sometimes, but I just want you to know I wouldn't want to be going through this without anybody else. I love you, Raymond. And with that, Lacey rested her head on her pillow and went to sleep. Knowing it was far too late to say something now, Raymond did his best to fall asleep. Ray awoke from his temporary slumber. A tear fell from his eye, prompting him to quickly wipe it away. Ah, stupid dusty house. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 7. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 8. Ray was pleasantly surprised the next day when Jessie paid him an unexpected visit. She again said she was in the neighborhood and just wanted to see how he was doing. Lucky for Ray, he was cooking a large meal on the stove. There would be more than enough for two. As Ray was toiling away in the kitchen, Jessie's cell phone began ringing. Hello? Girl, where are you? Someone told me that you went home early. Yeah, I'm fine. You aren't with that Ray boy, are you? No, of course not. I'm at my second job. Gotta make ends meet, you know? Oh, really? Okay, so where is this second job of yours? A strip club. I'm a stripper. Really? So, what's your stripper name? Strippy McStripface? Could have just said your stripper name was Sparkles or Sapphire or something like that. But you panicked and said the name of the job in your name. That giveaway that you're lying. Can't change my answer to Sapphire. Too late. You're with that Ray boy again. I knew it. I thought I told you to stay away from him. Look, keep your voice down. I'm in an incognito mission to find out more about him. Girl, as soon as the customer's signature is on the contract, we don't have to find out any more about him. So, your business with him is done. Oops, gotta go. Ray entered the dining room, holding a casserole dish filled with what looked like a casserole, but more just a conglomeration of different ingredients masquerading as a casserole. The food made a squishy sound as Ray scooped it out of the dish and onto Jesse's styrofoam plate. The plate paired well with the red Solo cups. Bon appetit. Looks great. As they ate, Jessie brought up a question that had been weighing on her mind for some time. So, the lady with the blood-curdling scream on the phone? What was that all about? Oh, that. I have nearly the same phone number as a sex hotline. Only one digit is different. You'd be surprised how many times I've gotten called in the middle of the night by guys asking me what I'm wearing. They scream on those sex lines? Yeah, people are into some weird stuff these days. You know, the internet and all. Vanilla stuff just gets boring. Not that I have any knowledge about that sort of stuff. Jessie then took a drink before dabbing her forehead in the napkin. Some spicy food. Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was having company and sometimes go too hard with the hot sauce. I don't always like the stuff, but now I can't get enough of it. It's okay. What happened to your arms? What Jessie was referring to were the numerous scratches that were all over Ray's arms. It looked as if he had fought a cat, and that cat had won. Oh, these have been happening while I'm asleep. I guess I'd better start clipping my fingernails down. Are you sure that's how it happened? They look like pretty deep cuts. I'm not worried. I've just been having these really weird dreams lately. I think that's what's causing them. What kind of dreams? I dream that I'm lying in bed when this disgusting, vile, out-of-this-world, ugly old woman crawls on top of me. The temperature in the room suddenly began to drop. You know, she's one of those like hags that you could just tell that even when she was young, she was ugly. You can't even make the excuse. Well, she's only ugly because she's old and wrinkly. No. She was a hideous beast from the moment she crawled out of whatever equally monstery, oozing, pus-filled woman that gave birth to her. Maybe cut down on the adjectives? Said an uncomfortable Jessie, who was now nervously scanning the area. Is it getting colder in here? I feel like it's getting colder in here. And her breath smells like 1,000 sewers filled to the brim with dirty diapers that have been left to rot in the sun. She is, by far, the most vile creature to ever set foot on God's green earth. The lights began to flicker, and what sounded like angry whispers filled the room. Is this it? Is this how I die? Nah, it's bad wiring. No electricians want to touch this place. Got those cushy union jobs where they don't even lift a finger if they don't want to. Plus, this house is a drafty son of a bitch. A door downstairs slammed loudly, prompting Jesse to look at Ray to get his best logical explanation. Very drafty. When the lights finally went out, Jessie stood up from her chair at the speed of someone who had been jolted with electricity. Yeah, would you look at the time? Leaving already? Yeah, got lots of early meetings tomorrow. Trying to sell a house of a hot air balloon guy, so I really have to rise to the occasion. Yeah, it's good to be busy. It really is. Oh, you don't have to lead me to the door. I can find my way, said Jessie, as her hand was firmly gripped. I'm over here, implied Ray, whose voice showed he was not the one who had taken Jessie by the hand. Jessie rushed to the door and into the small amount of light that was shining through the front window. It was there where she was met by Ray. He then handed him her business card. Just in case you lose the first one I gave you. Did you ever think about selling this place and getting out of here? What? What do you mean? I just moved in. Seriously, you need to get out of this house. And with that, Jessie made her hasty retreat. Ray now was all alone in the very dark and very drafty house. Guess I went too heavy on the spicy food. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 8. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 9. Jessie had some free time the next day at work, so she got on her computer and did a little investigating on Ray's house. What she read about Agnes Weatherby and what she had done to so many unsuspecting people in her house made her feel sick to her stomach. Several websites she visited had old photographs of the carnage. Jessie's cheeks ballooned to twice their normal size several times as she held back the vomit. Wow, how evil can one person be? Clicking away from the search, Jessie opened the tab containing the website Maria had told her about that gave out far too much information about people. Before Jessie was a very long list of addresses that Ray had lived at. The most recent address was the house he lived at now, but Jessie wondered what had led Ray to move away from these other homes after having lived in them for such short amounts of time. Choosing one of the addresses at random, Jessie Googled it and was presented with the most startling revelation. Several stories appeared about the house reportedly being haunted. Thinking it to be nothing more than an eerie coincidence, Jessie Googled another random address. Again, he was presented with several stories about the house's haunted history. No matter which house Jessie Googled, the result was always the same. Every one of the houses Ray had lived in had some sort of reported haunting attached to it. How can this be? One of the stories had a video attached to it. In this video, two boys had sneaked into the house at night, armed with only their flashlights and the phone they were using to record the video. What's that sound? Shut up! The sound of footsteps on the floor above them was coming crystal clear. There's someone else in here, bro. No, there isn't. Why are you being such a chicken? Hey, at least I didn't pee myself at the carnival last October. Look, I told you I spilled my soda on my lap. That's why I was wet. No soda smells like what you smelled like. What sounded like whispering could then be heard. So help me if you get in the way of me finding all that treasure. There's no treasure in here. There are only demons in this house. Demons, schmeemons. I'll kick their asses if they try to take any of my treasure. The video then showed the flashlight directed at the door that was slowly opening. What looked like the figure of a person was just outside the rim of the light. Before Jesse knew it, an unseen force had knocked down both boys, leaving the ceiling as the only thing visible on the video. At that moment, one of Jesse's co-workers had made his way to her desk with a cup of coffee. An extremely startled Jessie nearly jumped out of her seat when the man made the awful mistake of putting his hand on her shoulder. The coffee jumped out of the cup and into the man's face, forcing he and Jesse to both begin screaming. Ray had again heard the pipes knocking in his basement and had gone to check them out. The basement was exactly what was expected to be from a house that age. It had a dirt floor and was kept illuminated by a single bulb hanging from the center of the room. The light, however, did little to illuminate the room, as it was still very difficult to see. Rickety old shelves were found throughout, held against the walls with rusty nails that looked as if they were ready to give away at any second. Finding the pipes, Ray began inspecting them. So help me if you start to leak and flood the basement. You have any idea how hard it's gonna be for me to find someone who's willing to come down here? With the pipes running from the wall to across the ceiling, Ray had to use the rickety old chair to stand up, check for any signs of damage or on their layers of rust. These pipes are in decent shape for their age. So engrossed in his inspection was Ray that he failed to notice a set of footprints in the dirt, making its way closer to him. Puffs of dust popped up with each step. If I fall off the chair and hurt myself, can I sue the homeowner? Wait, that's me. As if on cue, one of the chair's legs broke, sending Ray falling off and crashing into some shelves. The force was enough to loosen the nails anchoring the shelves onto the wall, but not quite strong enough to completely pull them out. Glass jars filled with tacks and rusty nails tipped over, but did not spill their contents onto Ray, who was now flat on his back. Seeing just how close he was to having numerous sharp objects falling on him, Ray couldn't help but make a comment. Today must be my lucky day. Much to Ray's dismay, the nails that were anchoring to the shelves onto the wall gave way and the shelves and all their contents came crashing down on top of him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end, chapter 9. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, subscribe. Chapter 10. Jessie was at home on her computer. Her investigation into Raid's odd choice of houses was continuing. As she worked, she was on the phone with Maria. The houses must be haunted by his victims. It all makes perfect sense now. Ray's a serial killer that kills his victims in these houses, so they become haunted, thus satisfying his sick and twisted desire to have sex with ghosts. All of the houses were reported to be haunted years before Ray ever moved into them. Girl, you gotta poke holes in every theory I have. It just doesn't make any sense. Ray doesn't believe his house is haunted. Every time something out of the ordinary happens, he always has some kind of explanation. You think he's some kind of debunker or something like that? Look, whatever Ray is, you have got to finally start taking my advice and stay away from him. If he isn't a serial killer, then there's a chance something even worse. What's worse than being a serial killer? He has a small willy, that's what. What? Before either could say another word, the distant sound of glass breaking and kids screaming could be heard on Maria's end. Girl, I gotta go. Someone just broke something, now I have to go break them. And with that, the call was over. Do these houses have a connection? Wondered Jessie, standing over the information on her computer screen. Or is it just all one big coincidence? That night, Ray, who now had bandages all over his body due to his most recent accident, was having a dreadful time in bed. He had been able to fall asleep, but he was suffering greatly. Every dream that came to him was of Lacey, but none of these dreams were of the moments Ray cared to remember. Ray and Lacey were in bed. It was very late, and Ray was on the verge of falling asleep. The room seemed even more dark than usual. Ray, you awake? Ray wanted to speak, but he was far too tired to do anything more than lie with his back to Lacey. I just wanted to say that I wish it was you who was going through this. You're the one that should be sick, not me. What makes you so special that you don't have to experience this? Why does it have to be me? Ray was no longer on the brink of sleep. He was wide awake, but far too shocked to say anything. I can see it on your face every time you look at me. Think I'm pathetic, don't you? Do you think somehow that I'm getting what I deserve? How dare you think these things of me? I won't let you get away with this, Ray. One way or another, you're going to regret this. Ray had opened his mouth and was about to say something when Lacey spoke again. You're a shitty human being, Ray. But you're an even shittier husband. I hate you. Ray was ripped away from his slumber after being forced to live through one of the most horrible moments of his life. Being quite parched now, Ray made his way downstairs into the kitchen, where he quickly drank down a full glass of water. On the way back to his bedroom, Ray stopped by a picture of Lacey in the living room. When he picked it up, the glass cracked. This is what happens when you buy a picture from a yard sale. The knocking pipes could once again be heard from down in the basement. Ray whipped the basement door open and flipped on the light switch, but the light refused to turn on. I'll have to deal with Steve another time. For what felt like an eternity, Ray attempted to get back to sleep, but there was no way he could succumb to his fatigue, as all the noise in the basement keeping him up. Having had his fill of obnoxious noises for one night, Ray took his pillow and the blanket and marched out of the house to his car. For the night, Ray's back seat would serve as his bed. As Ray tried his best to get comfortable in his temporary bed, Agnes was watching him from an upstairs window. Ray was jerked awake the following morning by an elderly couple out for a walk. "Go sleep somewhere else, you bum," exclaimed the wife before banging angrily on the window. The first order of business for Ray that morning was to go to the local hardware store and buy some supplies to put an end to the banging pipe once and for all. Ray's haggard look got him more than his fair share of looks. "You look like hell, son." "Well, I feel like hell." With no one being home, it was the most perfect opportunity for Estill and Warren to sneak their way into Ray's house. Warren was quite the lockpicker, so the couple had no trouble getting in. Warren was about to light the curtains in the living room on fire again, but Estill stopped him. "Look, there's no need to rush it. Just start fire in the basement." "Why would we do that?" "Because we start the fire on the ground floor, then it'll burn both upward and downward. It'll take too long. It'll give the fire department time to put it out. We start the fire down in the basement, then it only has to burn upward." Look, sand brains. The couple hastily headed to the basement. Estill flipped on the light switch, but the light refused to turn on. Fortunately, the pair had packed flashlights. Even during the day, the basement was as dark as the endless void of space. Once they had carefully made it down the rickety stairs, Warren and Estill proceeded to cover every available surface with lighter fluid. As the pair was working, the pipes began banging loudly. "What's making them do that?" Don't worry about it. Just keep squirting." The basement door slammed shut. I think she knows we're here." The distinct sound of whispering could be heard throughout the basement. "Light this place up, Warren." The pipe running the length of the ceiling burst open and water began pouring out. When Warren struck a match, a sudden gust of air extinguished it. He struck another match, but the same thing happened. "Keep trying. We have to destroy this house no matter what." The water that had poured onto the dirt floor softened the soil far quicker than it should have. To make matters worse, the old wooden staircase suddenly fell to pieces and into a jumbled pile of broken wood. I don't think she's gonna let us leave." Hands covered in decaying flesh thrust out of now abnormally soft dirt and took a hold of Warren and Estel's ankles. Estel was caught so off guard that she dropped her flashlight. Its fading light shined on Agnes, who was at the other end of the basement, happily watching as the couple and all their supplies were slowly being pulled into the ground.
We knew this day would eventually come.
The pair had been just close enough so that they could reach out and grab each other's hand.
I love you, my little chickadee. Love you too, my darling.
Before long, the couple had been completely sucked into the soft ground, leaving behind nary a trace that they had ever been there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end, chapter 10. Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again. Another chapter from the story titled Some Houses Bleed, written by Jacob Harris. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to the author, like, comment, and subscribe. Chapter 11. Ray made it home after his venture into town. He wasted no time taking his bag of supplies to the living room couch to come up with the battle plan. Contents of Ray's bag were little more than several rolls of duct tape. Okay, if I wrap up those pipes tightly enough, then it should stop the banging. I saw them do it one time on those house renovating shows. I mean, I fell asleep while watching it, so it could have been a dream, but I'm confident this will work. An above-average size yawn escaped from Ray. They're a little tired from last night. Yeah, maybe I'll take a little cat nap before I get started. Ray laid himself down on the couch, closed his eyes. It took him no time at all to fall fast asleep. Still quite obsessed with the mystery that was Ray, Jessie was at home, glued to her computer. She had read about every article and watched numerous videos on the houses Ray had once called his home. The more she researched, the more frustrated Jessie became. She had nowhere near the nerve to ask Ray what his deal was, but she had come to a dead end with her investigation. Why? Why do you keep moving into these houses, Ray? Jessie had Googled an address and read most of the articles about it, but an article at the bottom of the search had gone unread. Its title seemed strange, even for a haunted house article. Haunted no more? With newfound energy, Jessie began reading the article. It began like all the other articles, explaining the lore of the house and the experiences of former house owners. But unlike the other articles Jessie had begun reading, this one went on to explain how and all paranormal activity had ceased. Jessie eagerly clicked on the video link attached to the article. As she watched the video, an interview with an old man piqued her interest. House used to be haunted, not anymore. The damnedest thing. For years, all you heard was how bad the house was. Now, nothing. Jessie eagerly typed in another address. Like with the last one, she found unread articles at the bottom of the search. The current house